Oftentimes, when people hear deaf performer, they're confused. Many people do not understand the concept that deaf people can enjoy and appreciate music. Deaf people love loud vibrations and sounds to dance to. We can do everything. We just ask for appropriate access and accommodations. Hello, I am Raven Sutton. This is my sign name. I am a deaf community advocate / deaf performer / deaf actress for a living. Flo is actually the interpreter today who was voicing for me. One of my commercial jobs, she interpreted for me, and then after that, we've been best friends ever since. What I do for a living is a lot of things. When I wake up in the morning, I always make sure that I do a little bit of like a meditation, and I start work at 9 a.m. usually. I work full-time in an agency called Disability Rights California. DRC is a nonprofit law firm that provides lawyer representation, advice, and resources for anyone that has a disability. And then after my 9 to 5, I head straight out to acting school, and my acting class is around 2.5 hours. But if I do get booked to interpret a job, then, if it's a festival, it's typically all day work. But if it's a concert, it's usually at night. And so I would go work from my 9 to 5, go to school, and then head out to interpret for a concert. As a deaf performer, a small tour, like a concert for a day would probably range around $600 to $800. For festivals, that could be around $1,000 all the way up to $4,000. With my social media platforms, I earn money through different brands that I work with, or places will invite me or fly me out to speak at their events. So that's another way that I also earn income through those platforms. Navigating the world every day that's full of hearing people could be a challenge as a deaf person. Sometimes I will, voice for myself, I will read lips, but often I will have my phone. I will use the Notes app to text back and forth, like if I'm going to get coffee or gonna go order food. I would review the menu beforehand, and then I will text that in my Notes app to show them. It makes it easier and faster for them to understand me. But the world would be perfect if everyone just knew how to use sign language. I was born deaf. I am fourth generation deaf on my father's side, but I wasn't raised or met my father until later in life because my dad did pass away 2 months before I was born. I finally was able to meet my, deaf side of the family, and that's where I found an immediate bond and connection. My grandma knew Black American Sign Language and actually went to a deaf school that was segregated. There's a lot of rich history there with the deaf identity. The public school system didn't really care about my education. They seen that I was deaf and they just put me in a special education class. My mother saw that and really fought with the school for my access, but just ended up deciding to transfer me to Alabama School of the Deaf. When I came in, I finally felt like I was a part of something. I wasn't the weird girl. I wasn't the special ed girl in that environment. And I excelled. I was in cheerleading, I was in clubs. I graduated top of my class as a valedictorian. And I felt like when I was in mainstream, that would never happen. I grew up as a dancer first, but when I went into college, I would interpret for my friends in terms of the music, and that's how it started when we go out to clubs or bars. The WAP song by Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion, that song went viral. And I seen everyone talking about the song and how this song is sexual liberation for women. So many people had dialogue about this one song, but deaf people weren't involved in that conversation because there was no access. So I signed the song. I didn't like the video at first, actually. But when I showed my best friend, she literally stopped me and said, "You better post that right now." I woke up the next day to my phone vibrating, looked at my phone, and I already seen on TikTok that my video already had 1.3 million views. And that's how I got here today. And so I was able to interpret for Megan Thee Stallion at Coachella in April. So that's a full circle moment for me. I was just a small account on social media just interpreting songs. I'm a huge fan of Megan. And then now to actually interpret her on a big stage, a big platform, at the big festival, just really inspiring. ASL is a visual language. You can see it. So your hands is not the only part of this language. Your facial expressions, your body movement, whatever you are feeling inside, you can see it outside of yourself. ASL is like poetry. As an interpreter, I am taking the eyes off the artist for people to look at me for access. And so with that being said, I have to show the same energy that the artist has. I have to match that character, if you will. As a deaf performer, in terms of when I'm interpreting music, it's kind of the same thing as acting, because music is the artist's lyrics, their emotions, their feeling, and I'm bringing that to life. And so that really piqued my interest into becoming an actress. I never seen Black deaf actors or actresses before, so I did not know that I could do that. When I was on camera, that started when I joined The Circle on Netflix, season 5. That is where there was a bunch of cameras and I experienced being on TV, and I really like that type of environment. The Circle was an amazing opportunity for me. One thing I really enjoyed is that the producers of that show really made sure to put my needs first. They were very open-minded. I didn't have to worry about my access on top of the game. I was able to just focus on the game itself, and that's how I was able to play well. So when I'm interpreting for an artist, I will first put all the music in a playlist. And so I will go ahead, use those songs, use those lyrics in a document, practice, read the lyrics over and over again. And I would then, talk with my team interpreter. We would pick different songs to devise so we can go back and forth. And then when we arrive, we'll meet with the tech person, the backstage person, make sure that we have everything that we need. We know that our placement, and we feel ready to go for the show. Even though I might have memorized the songs, I still need support from a hearing interpreter. And that's what is called feeding. So they'll be signing it or feeding it to me. I will take what I've seen and I will make the translation more American Sign Language or more visual for the overall audience. The only negative experience at shows is the security. A lot of the times they are not aware about access. And so sometimes deaf people are missing the show because the security guard won't let them in, or the security guard won't even let the interpreter in. The challenge I faced, and still do, people just don't understand about deafness or deaf people. Like, they will provide accommodation, but at the bare minimum. At concerts or festivals, they should be in front where the speakers are to feel the vibration, and also where the interpreter is in the front. They need a platform to be propped up so the person can see the interpreter and also can see the artist on stage at the same time. But the other challenge is that many places wait for deaf people to buy the ticket and then to request for interpreters. So if I show up last minute, I can't get access. But however, if it's a public event, there should already be access provided. Many people feel like, oh, it's so expensive to, get interpreters, but they just really don't understand. Having the access to communicate is a very important part of our identity as humans. I laugh at the negative comments. I can't please everyone. I can't speak for everyone. Some people won't agree with me. They won't agree with my message or my post, and that's okay. The only thing that I make sure that I focus and work on is to make sure that my content is accessible. I want to make sure that I'm not purposely offending anyone, and I'm being very open-minded and very open-hearted to correct anything I need to do. But outside of all that, I really don't care about those negative comments and what people say. But I do know that it could impact mental health. And so if I need to shut it down, if I need to take a break from the internet, I always put my phone away if I need so. What keeps me going during the hard days is really turn up the music and just start twerking. That's what I do. That's how I get through. I just want to dance. I let it out. You know, some people scream, I twerk. I have to keep reminding myself that the hard moments does not equal a hard life. I feel, I let it go, and I keep going. And I twerk. I hope that people walk away with that deaf and disabled people are human. We deserve to show up unapologetically ourselves without anyone making us feel like a burden or less than. Please put in the effort to get to know us all, to get to know each other, get to know disabled and deaf people, learn American Sign Language, come be a part of this world, because we are all a part of this same world. The advice that I would give to deaf and hard of hearing creatives is just be you. Do not let anyone influence you, what you can or what you cannot do, or do not listen to that. No dream is too big. You put in the work and you will get what you want, and you'll be closer to catch your dreams. It's your life. Go enjoy it. To watch more videos like this, please go ahead and subscribe here.